Pow, bang. We made it. We did it. Here we are.
Episode 9. We're so close to 10. It's unbelievable.
Deep Space Nine. Coincidence?
It's not a coincidence, but you would only know if it was a coincidence if you listened to the Faux Tech podcast episode.
Faux Tech Peck Tossed.
Yeah.
Well, listen, let's just say, let's get it out in the way. Out in the way? Let's get it out of the way. We have an audience member here.
We do.
We just recently recorded the, what's it called again?
Faux Tech.
The FauxPop Faux Tech podcast. The Faux Tech podcast. What are we saying? How are we saying it? FauxPop TechCast.
I think it was just Faux Tech.
Faux Tech.
Because I thought it'd make a great university someday.
It's Faux Tech. Faux Tech, yeah. When we get a football team, they're going to be amazing.
Oh, that's going to be awesome.
Anthony's here today. He's over there. He's sitting where he would see. He's going to be our audience member today. He's going to help us out. Or maybe he's not going to help us. Maybe he's going to get us coffee, egg salad sandwich, light on the mayo. Thank you very much. A little bit of salt and pepper. Today, I want to talk about, the reason why I mentioned the egg sandwich today, I want to talk about flavors.
Flavors.
Yep. We're having an emergency podcast today because I have a huge announcement for the hustler, Anthony, as a secondary, because he won't realize why this is a huge announcement. This is going to be so massive. Those of you at home who are listening, you might want to buckle down, sit down, lay down, or if you're already laying down, curl into a fetal position for this. Last night, I drank espresso, a whole cup.
Really?
Yeah, I did.
Oh my goodness.
I did. I drank espresso.
And this is coming from a guy who has never drank coffee.
Never drank coffee.
I've
tasted it.
Yeah,
but I've never drank a cup of coffee.
You've always just been a taster.
I just would taste something to the slice amount and spit out and say, yeah, literally like that. Last night, ladies and gentlemen, last night I drank a cup of espresso. It was a cup approximately, it's Italian size, so let me just look. What is it? No. It's like a little cup. You know what it looks like? It looks like a cup that a little General Tom Thumb would have. If he had a big mug for him and it was like a little cup. I don't know. How big are those cups? Someone tell me.
They're very, very tiny.
They're like that, about that big.
Yeah.
Maybe I said it was about that big. That can't be.
Just for those of you just coming into the podcast, what Randall's talking about is an espresso cup.
Well, who would have just come into the podcast partway through?
Oh, they just may have come in and saw you going, it's only this big. I just wanted to save you some embarrassment.
I don't know what you're talking about. You're thinking teacup or mug or something?
Yeah.
By the way, it was, compared to this, it was probably a third or something of this regular size cup. Right. Anyway, I had espresso last night and it got me thinking, like I was drinking it, and it tasted sort of like if there was a drink that someone had put out a bunch of cigarettes in. That's what it tasted like.
Yeah.
It tasted like, hey, who put out cigarettes in my hot drink?
Right.
And is that always the way it is? So then I got thinking, let's talk about flavors. Let's talk about flavors.
Well, what comes to mind for me when you're talking about that, it's a good thing you don't do drugs or just weren't going to start doing drugs, because you go right for the hard stuff.
Why is espresso the hard stuff?
Espresso's like the hard stuff of coffee.
I was told it's not.
You're not like slowly coming into it, like, do a joint and then some heroin and then cocaine. You're like going right for the cocaine.
Wait. It goes joint, heroin, cocaine?
No, he's like straight to crack.
Yeah, straight to crack.
Wouldn't it go joint, cocaine, heroin? No, it would go joint, mushrooms, or you know what I mean? Like,
yeah, joint, mushrooms, pills, cocaine, heroin, crack.
It wouldn't go straight to.
Ladies and gentlemen, Anthony Wilkinson, our guest, our audience.
He's our guest for the day.
He's a drug expert. We had to bring him in.
I don't know what kind of drugs he uses on his day-to-day basis.
Adderall.
But Adderall. I don't. That's why I drank coffee. It's funny you say that.
Right.
That's when my wife said, "Why don't you try coffee? It'll help you with your focus and your concentration." I don't know if it did. I wasn't working at the time. I was at a dinner. I was with a group of people. They were yelling. It was very loud. And one of them said, "We're having espresso." I said, "You know what? There's no X in espresso." I said, "I'm going to give it a try." He also had tiramisu, which I tried. I'm not a huge fan of tiramisu. It was good. And I drank it. And my gut feeling was, aside from the cigarette ashes, I did not get anything. I didn't get a racing pulse. I didn't feel caffeinated. I didn't have problems getting to sleep later that night. I didn't have anything like I was anticipating. So I shot up heroin right after that, and I didn't feel any effect from that either. And I shot it between my toes thinking maybe that would be the way to go because I saw it on a show once.
That's crazy. Well, I think this is a milestone for Randall Lobb.
Kilometer stone.
It's amazing.
We don't use miles.
If we could all just join together and give him a round of
Do you have a sound effect going that you're getting? He is.
of applause. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Congratulations.
The people at home will realize that the Hustler probably spent about a good 8 minutes muscling around to try and find that sound effect.
No.
So a couple things about the flavors. One thing that popped into my head as I was having this coffee or espresso, I guess. It is just coffee, for one thing.
It's condensed coffee.
Why do they give it a fake name?
It's like compressed coffee. It's like espresso, and it's Italian. It's European.
no
That's
X.
probably why you liked it.
Well,
Because you're so European and you love it, Italy. I mean, it makes total sense.
I went to Italy.
Oh.
Why don't we have an espresso of hot chocolate? Do they have that?
I don't know. That's a good question.
It's a great. We've established that
Actually,
I ask great
it's
questions.
an espresso of hot chocolate is that syrup that you get at the bottom of some cups. And I really like that syrup. You know when you
I know
drink
what you mean.
you drink a hot chocolate and then there's this really thick brown syrup at
Yeah.
the bottom and it's like
sludge, chocolate sludge.
Oh, you just let that sit for 10 minutes to cool down and then you just sip that back. That is good stuff. Talk about flavor.
I don't think I like that in most conventional hot chocolate containers. Like I don't like, for example, your Tim Hortons hot chocolate. I do not like that.
Right.
No offense to Tim Hortons. I think
not at all.
that they're good people. They do a fine service to Canadians who drink hot drinks. But I don't like their hot chocolate. It's too sugary. It's too sweet. It doesn't have a musky darkness. I like my hot chocolate like I like my women. Let's just leave it there. P.S. My wife is blonde. Moving on. So I wanted to talk about flavors because I know that we've established that Hustler loves flavors.
I absolutely love flavors.
I want you to tell the people at home about your ice cream thing that you've been doing.
I've been doing this for years. I mean, I just mix things up. It's not no crazy thing.
No, I didn't say crazy.
It's probably something everybody
maybe
does.
it's exciting. I want you to talk a little bit about some of the things that you're doing.
Let's see. Usually,
If I may,
yeah.
I think some of the things that you're doing with ice cream are revolutionary in a way.
Well, maybe they are. I just think it's what everybody does at night, isn't it? At 11 o'clock,
Nobody does it.
You finished at your computer, and you're like, oh, I could sure use some ice cream. Typically, there's a couple different things, and I suppose I'm stuck in a bit of a rut, but
I don't know. Is it a rut if it's good?
Well, it's good. It's a good rut. I'll do a chocolate version and a vanilla version. Lately, I've been on the chocolate version, which is, some kind of chocolate ice cream. I like pure chocolate. It's good. And then
wait a minute. Pure chocolate ice cream or pure chocolate like you get bars of chocolate in?
No, pure chocolate ice cream. So what I mean is like chocolate ice cream. I sometimes like to get the chocolate ice cream that has, cookie dough in it or, little pieces of chocolate. But sometimes that annoys me. So the pure stuff is good. And
Just
then what
chocolate.
you get is you get some vanilla yogurt.
This is what I found so revolutionary.
And you just plop that on. So you have black, you have white. And then always, no matter if it's black or white, there has to be peanut butter. And that's usually here's my routine. You might think it's kind of crazy.
Well, this is what I wanted to talk about.
Okay, but
Not for the whole podcast, but I wanted to.
Oh, okay.
This is one of the things I was.
Well, peanut butter I love peanut butter, and I probably eat too much peanut butter, though I only eat it at night. But I'll always take a spoonful of peanut butter and eat it while I'm preparing the dish.
Right, you're like priming it.
And then I'll get another big spoonful and plop it down on the side. And then while I'm
Wait a minute, same spoon?
Same spoon, absolutely same spoon.
That's not good. You just put it in your mouth.
I'm
and
the
you put
only
it,
one that uses the peanut butter
Okay.
jar, so it's all good. It's my peanut butter jar.
Note to self.
Yeah. No to sell. Anybody want a peanut butter toast or anything?
No thanks.
And then I just plop a spoonful there, and while I'm eating it, I take a little dip of peanut butter, dip it in the yogurt, and then the chocolate ice cream, and I just
eat it.
Very, yeah, but it's not just it's like I just kind of slowly
You pull it through your mouth and you hold some of it back, so it kind of builds up and curls up in the inside of your
and it
mouth.
just mixes all these flavors, and then you have all this aftertaste, and a bowl like that will last me for 40 minutes while I'm watching a show or something.
40 minutes.
It's awesome.
How does it last so long?
it must be something to do with it's the peanut butter is the only thing that stays solid in the whole mix by the end of it all. And if I'm really ambitious, I'll melt the peanut butter
Right.
in a bowl and then pour it on the ice cream and then put the ice cream in the freezer for another 5 minutes and then pull it out and it's nice and hard and you go
Right. That's not the only thing like that you do. Can you talk about your gum ice cube thing?
Oh yeah, I like chewing ice cubes and wrapping my gum around the ice cube and just chewing it until it gets to that kind of squeaky sound. It's very, very pleasurable for me for some reason.
And don't you have the same thing with sometimes gum and coffee, or there are other things?
Not gum and coffee.
Am I dreaming? What's the other thing that you were talking about?
I don't know.
There was one.
I like a lot of mixtures like that.
Mm-hmm.
I don't remember the other one. The thing about the ice cube thing that's good for me is that that's my water intake for the day.
Literally the only water that you drink.
So it's actually really good for me. So don't laugh.
I'm laughing. I first noticed the Hustler and I have been hanging around since about 2004. And I remember one time, not long into our relationship, and I hesitate to say the word relationship because it makes it sound like we are dating, and that is not the case. We're both happily married, not to each other. We were at a local establishment for a food event for you. I'd eaten supper, but you were in that phase where you didn't ever eat except for like maybe once a day at 10 at night or something.
Yeah, it's a snake diet. It works really well.
The snake diet, which I don't think I don't think it does work very well. I think it's unhealthy.
Well, and it wasn't even because I was trying to lose weight. It's just, I mean, I have a problem. I don't get hungry. It's very rare that I even feel hunger pains.
Did you hear that? He doesn't get hungry.
I just don't get hungry. So when I do eat, though, obviously I am hungry and I eat a lot.
So this was after a day of, I believe we were doing music stuff, working on that Boy in December album that was long in the making.
Right.
And we went to a local establishment and you got a hamburger.
Oh, yeah.
Do you remember that event? Because I remarked upon it.
Yeah, I do remember that. And I wasn't doing anything out of the ordinary.
Can you describe a little bit about what was happening? Do you remember?
I remember getting a hamburger, and the only reason I remember it is because you did take note of it.
I really, really noticed something.
You noticed that I was really applying the garnishes, the condiments, and mixing those condiments up.
You were really in such a way focusing on the condiments.
Yeah, I was very curious. What condiments do you have? Do you have mayo? Do you have ketchup? Do you have mustard? Oh, what's that? Is that some kind of salad dressing? Yeah, I'll take some of that too.
Can I have that?
Yeah.
Is there any other kind of wet substance I can put on this? Do you have anything else that's wet?
Anything else?
I remember you saying to the waitress, "Is there anything else that is wet that I can put on this meat?" And then I said, "You're just using this burger as like a condiment delivery system. It is not about the burger at all." And you admitted that was true.
Absolutely true. It's a mix of all those flavors.
So I suggested, why don't you just eat condiments?
Well, there's something good about having that solid something in there that makes you feel like you're eating something substantial.
Where do you think this came from? Like, what is the root of this? Like one of the things we do in this podcast, Anthony, is we go back to our childhood to find why things are the way they are. Why do you do this?
I don't know. I've never actually even thought about it till I met you. I mean, I just thought that's how everybody was. They enjoyed condiments and flavors. I don't know if everybody's like that. And probably, maybe I could give, maybe it's just the fact that growing up, you know what it is?
That's why I asked.
I know, and you're very good at this, as we all know from these podcasts, that he asks those hard, tough questions, but it just dawned on me why it is.
Okay, bingo. Just wait. Do you want to put something up like a lower third about how this is like a
bingo moment?
Just
if I had.
Did you say bingo?
Hands, yeah.
Is it bingo? Eureka, isn't it? Not bingo.
Oh.
B49. Well, there's no B49.
All the 2s, 22. All the 1s, 11.
What?
It was just reminding me of a pub in England. Anyway, another story.
Okay, let's just tell me. Go ahead.
So,
I'm sorry to derail that.
The reason is, growing up, I think, is we didn't have a lot of condiments in the fridge.
That's what I was thinking.
So it was like, we had lots of vegetables and lots of very, very good food that my mom thank you, Mom, grew in a huge garden to keep all 9 of us alive all those years. But it was kind of a treat to have those like condiments in the fridge. So that I think is why I enjoy
So
it
it's
so
from
much.
poverty. From poverty.
It comes
in a
from
sense.
poverty. It's like now that I can afford a bottle of ketchup.
By God, I'm putting it on.
I'm putting it on. And at restaurants, they give it to you for free.
That's right. The irony is, I think ketchup is very cheap. Is it not?
Oh,
I don't buy
have
ketchup.
no idea. And I know that it's mostly sugar, which is weird because it doesn't taste like sugar.
What does it taste like?
It tastes
ketchup.
like tomatoes.
I think it tastes like
tastes
ketchup.
like ketchup, but maybe it's not even true, and someone can correct me out there. But I remember somebody saying that ketchup is mostly sugar.
I'm sure that it's mostly sugar. I have no doubt, or is mostly stuff that is with sugar.
So the other reason I like condiments is probably because they're actually sweet,
They're sweet,
and I have a sweet tooth.
thus established with the ice cream incident, the ongoing ice cream incident. Well, the reason why this appealed to me so much is, of course, it made me think. Even though you and I are essentially extremely different, we are, in fact, in a way, opposites. In many ways, we are opposites.
Yeah, I guess so. I'm coming to admit that, even though I disagree, mostly.
Even though I disagree,
I'm coming to be beaten
admit.
down.
Yeah. Even though I agree, I don't agree. When I was growing up, I used to do this thing that I called plate stew.
Oh yeah.
And I think this will make sense to you. You know what I'm going to say.
Oh yeah.
See, it makes sense to him.
Man, yes.
We'd be at Grandma's. We're at, what is that? There.
It's all
We're
right.
at Grandma's. It's Thanksgiving or Christmas or whatever. And I go and I get turkey. And I get mashed potatoes. And I get some vegetable, which I was not keen on. Probably corn or peas or something. And I get stuffing. And then I get whatever there is. And then I put gravy on everything, and then I would sit on my plate and just go like this and stir it all. Sorry about that.
Absolutely.
Stir it all into a big thing, like a pile of stuff.
I know exactly what you're talking
And I
about.
would call it plate stew, and I would form it into like a mound, and then I would eat it, and I would feel all the flavors of it.
Yeah.
all at once. My mouth is watering.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Plate stew.
I love plate stew.
That's horrifying.
It's not. It is deliciifying, and that is a word. And the thing that resounds in me is that I like, as to this day, things in one bowl. If you can contrive to put everything in one bowl, like things that are, like if you remember your experience with Korea, that Korean dish, which was a donburi
Absolutely.
or something, bulgogi, and there's everything in that bowl, like an egg and rice and noodles and carrots and everything, cucumbers and meat.
Right.
And it's all in one bowl. And there's all this complexity that comes across from that. And as soon as I started learning to cook, which I did when I was young, I started learning to cook because I was watching cooking shows. I don't know if it was one following the other. I can't say the order, but I was watching cooking shows and they were cooking stuff. It was a show called Yan Can Cook. And I, of course, learned how to speak exactly like him. And he had his assistant whose name was Dorothy. And that was racist in a sense that I did that.
Not
But
at all.
so he's cooking and I'm watching and I'm thinking, I can cook. And so I started to cook. But what I liked to cook was something that I called mixture. So I just put a whole bunch of stuff in one pot. And I was trying to approximate the wok and how he would cook in the wok. And so everything was kind of like chili. But it would be mixture. And I would mix just all the leftovers of everything together. And then I just started to eat mixture. People would say, what did you have for lunch? I would say mixture. And then it got a capital M, and it was sort of like a known thing that's what I specialize in. I'm going to sneeze. Excuse me.
Whoa.
Sorry, everybody. Notice how I shot that over that
That
way.
was good name.
And mixture, I think, took me from the problem I had when I was a kid, which was that I didn't like many foods. I hardly ate any foods.
Right.
What was the one food that I would eat? Peanut butter. So again,
peanut butter.
we are opposite and yet similar.
Yeah, very similar, because the mixture thing I can totally relate to as well. Because that, if I do cook, and I'm not at all the kind of chef that you've become.
I don't think chef is the right word.
In fact, I'm still stuck in the mixture. Like that's when
That's
I
what
cook,
you're doing.
I make the mixture, and in that, when I was home living at home, that's the kind of thing I would do. I'd just, grab some eggs and grab some whatever and some rice and mix it all up together. And, just whatever was there, mix those flavors up, and it's fantastic.
And then did you put hot sauce on that?
Hot sauce, any condiments we had.
Yeah.
Mayonnaise is really good in rice too.
Mayonnaise?
Oh, yeah. Something about rice and mayonnaise.
I have a kind of a thing that I think that you almost said that American style, and I don't like the way American people say mayonnaise. They don't say mayonnaise. They say mayonnaise.
Yeah, I say mayonnaise. I say a lot of things American style.
Mayonnaise.
Yeah. Like zebras.
What do you say?
I say mayonnaise.
Mayonnaise. Mayonnaise. Mayonnaise. Whereas Americans say mayonnaise.
Huh. Mayonnaise. You gotta get some of that mayonnaise.
Mayonnaise. That bothers me. Anyway, I have this thing that I call it, I am a super taster. And I think that I was growing up, I was trying to explain to people I can't eat things that other people eat because it's all too strong. Like I remember when my mom or my sister or somebody would make Kraft dinner, it would make me feel physically sick. The smell of Kraft dinner made me sick, and I would have to leave the house. I can still smell it. Like I could eat it now, no problem.
Right.
But when I was up to about 22 or something, I couldn't eat Kraft dinner. I never had Kraft dinner till I was, I think, 22 or 23. And I remember the girl who made Kraft dinner that I ate for the first time. What made it work?
Just a minute, I wasn't listening. The girl that you ate for the first time.
You were doing that thing again.
I apologize. I just my ears perked up when
I have never eaten human flesh.
Oh, okay. Oh,
ever.
Because we're not.
Knowingly.
Right.
Knowingly. It's possible that I could have been somewhere and someone said, "Hey, do you want some of this beef?" Let me tell you something. I know I opened my eyes weirdly wide. Apologies if you're out there listening, but you're not because you live in South Africa. When I was in university, this is prior to my other story. So this is nestled like a Russian egg within another egg. You know how they do that with the eggs?
Yeah.
Or boxes?
They're dolls.
Or dolls?
Yeah, those dolls.
Egg-shaped dolls in boxes.
Right.
Or something like that. There was a girl who was from South Africa, and she was in my residence in university. It wasn't my residence. There were a number of us that went there, but I am not man candy. I am not attractive to the ladies on a big level, or men. I don't think that I'm the guy that people are saying, this is the guy. I think more like
so you're more like man sees.
Man sees
instead of mayonnaise.
To use like another letter.
Yeah, no, like a grading system.
Wow.
Like A, B, C.
Okay, yeah, man sees.
There's my attempt at.
That was a hustle joke.
A hustle joke. Everybody laughs now. Thank you very much.
I don't know why it took
stunned silence.
It's common. It's common that hustle jokes need a little bit of extra thinking to go into those. But this girl, I would say she had a crush on me, but it's not a very common occurrence. I would have to do a lot of work to make someone have a crush on me, but with her, I didn't have to do any work. And her hair she had the kind of hair that there was the top of her head, but then her hair went out. So you only saw the shape of the top of her head, and then there was like this thing that went out. And then it came down like this. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Kind of like Rosanna Dana from the old 70s Saturday Night Live, Gilda Radner. Anyway, this girl came up to my floor a lot, or down to my floor, and she was friends with someone on her floor, and she would come around and chat with me and laugh and stuff and be flirtatious. And she went home for Christmas and came back and brought this meat that was just like a stick of meat. And it was just like strips of hardened, dried meat. And she called it biltong. And if you've ever heard of biltong, you could probably look it up. It was I remember Biltung. And she said it was dried antelope.
Wow.
And I would chew on it, and it was so hard it was like chewing on a stick.
Right.
And you chew away at it, and then you'd get like a foamy, bloody froth in your mouth, because I don't think it was bled out and it wasn't cooked. And so I would get this pink froth,
oh my God,
bloody froth from chewing this biltong. That could have been human flesh.
Well, it's quite possible, right? Did you ever, did she have an axe or a knife, or did
No, but she did do something so horrible that I can't even talk about it.
I think you can talk about it. You should talk about it.
Are you trying to therapize me?
Yeah, you should talk about it. Let it out. I know associations with food, and it's often happens.
This does not associate with food.
Oh.
So things didn't go so well with after the biltong because she didn't get the reciprocation.
You sure it wasn't just her former boyfriend named Bill?
Biltong. It could have been.
Like if you look back, I bet
too tough.
I bet her boyfriend before you, his name was Bill.
It was too tough. The meat was too tough to be tongue meat.
He may have been tough though. Like imagine if it had all played out the way we're imagining right now. At least I am.
Well, wait till you find out what she did do. It's like that.
Okay.
It's scary.
Because I'm thinking of Randall Tongue.
Camera's not right.
But
She appeared at a time and things didn't go the way that she was anticipating that they were going to go. And I was sorry, but I wasn't as sorry as I could have been, right? You know how you're young. There we go. You're young and you're not necessarily as kind as you should be, maybe if things didn't go well with someone. Right. And so I maybe was rude. I don't remember being rude. I'm not hedging my phrases. I just didn't, she didn't get out of whatever the situation that she was looking for. And she was angry. And we were away and came back to the room and there was a maxi pad on my door.
wow.
And it had
Stuff on it. Like biltong.
I didn't know if it was real or fake or whatever. It was very stressful.
Weird.
And I thought that must have been a joke or I didn't know if it was rage or a joke or whatever. I think it was like a reference to the biltong or like I didn't know. And it's very distasteful. I think we should cut this part.
No, that's okay because I actually have a story that relates.
I don't know if you that can't be.
Everybody wins.
I don't know. It's bad. Anyway, and I was kind of freaked out, and there was something else that happened on the door, and I remember thinking, is it this angry young woman and that I should have been friendlier or like that I screwed up or like is this a reference to the biltong or you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Anyway, it was this bloody meat. Does it say, did you look it up?
No, I didn't. I just took your word for it that it was Bill's tongue.
I want you to just put Biltung and I want to know if I'm right. She was one of those kind of African people who lives in Johannesburg that you can guess is probably racist, who her dad probably runs a factory at the time and there's apartheid in her community and she was one of those, I think. So can you show that?
So
what does it say?
This is biltong, homemade beef biltong based on the South African recipe. And it's a kind of cured meat that originated in South Africa.
Well, I had antelope or human.
Yeah, so it makes sense, ranging from beef through game meats to fillets of ostrich from commercial farms.
It really is biltong. Look what it says.
Yeah.
Rump tongue. Rump tongue?
Bill rump. It's a Dutch word.
Rump tongue is not good. If you had a rump tongue, you would need to get that examined.
Wow.
Anyway, I don't like the maxi pad story. I feel bad for sharing it. It's one that I don't pull that story up very often. But it was in bad taste, and we're talking about flavor today.
Yeah.
I found actually I was scared by that. Like I thought, is this what a female serial killer would do? She would make a fake trick. It couldn't have been
I'm
real.
Trying to think why she would have done that. Maybe it was just a pure accident, and actually, no, I'm not even going to go there with what I was going to say.
No, you're not.
This podcast would just take a very
dirty turn. I bring it up. I don't like that I brought that up. I wanted to. That looks very much like what I was eating.
If you're watching the podcast instead
like
of
a
listening.
stick. It looked like a stick of meat that was so hard.
God.
If I had hit somebody with the biltong, I could have scratched them with the pointy parts, which were sharp. And B, you would have said, "Ow, stop it. What is that?"
I'm just amazed that you ate it.
I ate it all.
Yeah, me too.
She probably could have poisoned me or drugged me or something.
But was
she
it
didn't.
really delicious despite the
No, I
unappetizing
just kept eating
appearance?
it because it was bloody and frothy.
Yeah.
It was kind of interesting.
Weird.
I mean, you know what? I didn't dislike it. I
Sorry. My aim wasn't quite as good as Randall's. In fact, it was aimed right at him.
Yeah. That anyway, biltong is pretty good, and that was a bad trick that somebody might have played on me, and I think my roommate too, if I remember correctly.
Well, at least you were trying things that were not, like what's the right word?
Not peanut butter.
Not peanut butter, and worldly. Like what's the word for exotic?
Yeah, foods of other lands.
Yeah, you were eating something exotic.
Well, this is what I wanted to get at: is that I now I'm a person who likes foods of other lands.
Right.
But exactly.
And I'm,
You're doing the accents of other lands.
Yes, so that's what I do when I go to other lands very badly.
But you also like I grew up. You grew up with not much exposure to the foods of other lands.
No, it was like meat and potatoes, like very very good food. Obviously, it's kept lots of people alive for many many centuries.
The way you go.
I think Mark's just imagining his mother frowning somewhere.
But it's the second time that he said this, keeping us alive and keeping. It's like moss and bark and a squirrel, and it's kept us alive.
Kept us alive.
Part of a belt.
Yeah, well, it's true though. We didn't stray too far from the traditional path in rural Ontario.
You had meat and you had potatoes, and then you had some canned vegetables.
Canned fruit.
I don't even think I ate fruit till I was in my 20s.
Well, we had lots of fruit.
I had an apple once.
Yeah, mom would can pears and peaches, enough to last through the whole winter.
Really?
Yeah, absolutely.
That's a lot of canning, isn't
Which
it?
on a side note, in a totally rabbit hole, I was thinking about this the other day, how food is so expensive.
Yeah, well, it's at an all-time high.
Like it's at an all-time high. And how did we do it back then? And I'm sure lots of people still do this, but most of my peers and people I know don't can enough preserves to last you through the whole winter.
Well, they don't
because
they don't can any.
No, because we can go down typically to our supermarket and get
all
anything,
that stuff,
whether it's in season or not. Anyway, that's a whole other rant or talk, but
it's the point I was fishing for was how we grew up with this limited palette of foods,
right?
And so in a way that's almost self-affirming. So with your limited palette of foods, when you have foods that are outside of that palette, you're surprised or shocked or weirded out. And some people don't venture out. They don't want to try and stretch their palate. So growing up like that, as people who clearly were looking for interesting flavors and combinations as we grew up, it's interesting that it may be and I don't use poverty in monetary sense, but the poverty of flavors that were available at your average supper almost encourage you to mix things together. And
that's true, and experiment with different things. And maybe that's
pardon me,
part of our, just part of our genetics, to want to experiment and try different foods.
For me, this idea of being a super taster and everything tasting so strong. Like, we all know that I don't drink alcohol, and I never did because it's too strong. But
anything's possible now that he's drinking an espresso coffee.
Drinking
an espresso coffee.
Ladies and
gentlemen,
it's not possible.
It's quite possible that he
I also didn't drink pop. I never drank pop, Anthony. Your thoughts on that? Would you like to share?
Well, I just find it interesting because I think I parallel Mark in a lot of ways. It's like I grew up on a farm. It was like meat, potato, veg every night. When I went to college, I got so fat so fast because it was like all of a sudden the world was open. And by the world, I mean
pizza.
I mean chips. I mean Captain Crunch. Like if we had cereal, it was like Cheerios or that was it. So
I agree with that, and you probably had the same discussion from your mom that I had, as she would say, well, I do buy cookies, but then you eat them all in one day, and so I'm not buying cookies anymore.
Right.
Yeah. Anything that's remotely like a sugary food where kids would enjoy, it would be gone because that was all that there was available in that sort of...
Kids now growing up, they've never had it so good. We used to live in a shoebox by the side of the road. Hang on.
Yeah.
What I was going to say is kids growing up now are... They have a width of flavors, a depth of flavors that we could never have imagined, and we are not that old.
I think the side effect of that, though, too, is like the flavors that people sometimes tend to gravitate to are so strong that I wonder if they're going to lose those nuances in their palate as they get older.
It's possible.
I was thinking the same thing. Or like you take it, or you take it for granted. You take it for granted, so these things actually don't have the same kind of impact. Like 20 years from now, those kids aren't going to be having a podcast about exotic flavors.
I remember to speak to that. Do you remember having your first dill pickle chips?
I do.
I thought my head was exploding.
Yeah.
Like I thought I was under assault.
I found it actually kind of not unpleasant.
Yeah, it was vicious, chemical, and dangerous. It felt like you were going to die.
Yeah, I still can't eat salt and vinegar. It's way
I
too
can't.
much.
Yeah, that's
I can't either.
I like a couple of them just to push myself.
And you can't believe how
like
bad
you're just
they are.
like it's almost like
Shocking.
Yeah, it's like, okay, I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna
put one of these in my mouth.
put it in my mouth, and then you just let it. Do you ever do it where you just let it sit there?
That's exactly what I do,
And
and I can't
disintegrate?
believe
Yeah,
how
disintegrate.
powerful it is. And I want to say to people, and I do say to people like my wife who likes flavors like that, I say, how can you put this in your mouth? It's like someone putting a chainsaw on your tongue. That's what it feels like.
Yeah.
You know.
And
By the way, I'm the same with pop. I was going to say I never drank pop. I can't drink pop. I never had it.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I've tasted different pops. It's unbelievable.
Yeah.
It's like putting one of those wire brushes on your tongue and pushing it.
There's
down.
something nice about the feeling of carbonation in your mouth.
Yeah, see,
I hate it.
I started, because I don't drink pop anymore. I started drinking Perrier because I like the carbonation.
Oh, I hate it.
But if I drink pop now, it feels like I'm just drinking corn syrup.
Yeah, syrup. I agree with you 100%.
But I actually probably would have liked to drink corn syrup as a kid.
I think I did, because we had that, we probably like in all of our households, we had it for cooking. So I'd occasionally.
We had it for
Yes.
putting on ice cream.
Yeah. Yeah.
I was just gonna say, like,
I know you were.
I was
Yeah.
just gonna say another great thing on vanilla ice cream is corn syrup.
Yeah.
Fantastic.
In the yellow beehive
yeah,
container.
totally.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We're like those old men at a senior's home now.
And
I
that-
remember we
if
used
I
to
were-
put corn syrup on ice cream.
corn syrup and ice cream, and that was, if I am not mistaken, that was put into our pears and peaches in the preserves.
Why do I think that old men talk like this?
old men they talk like this?
But does that mean your voice, like right now we talk like this,
I
and
don't
we're
know.
this old. Why
Maybe
aren't we
we'll-
going to talk like this when we're that old?
I think your vocal cords relax. I think age
Do they?
tends to stretch them out a bit.
So let's try relaxing. Well, hello there, Randall. Yeah, it's true.
My voice feels
Actually.
the same.
Weird.
But you know what is different? Is
What's
that I
that?
could probably fall asleep right on this podcast.
You're getting tired.
It'd be like tired cast. I mean, it would be interesting to watch me fall asleep. I don't know if you know this, and this is a totally unrelated topic, but I do have this problem, or maybe it's not a problem, is I have dreams in a second. Like if I am tired and I'm at work and I'm marking papers and I kind of have a little one of those, I have a whole dream. Do you get that? Where
Oh,
and
yeah.
you're like, oh, he just had a dream.
Yeah, I have the same problem. Like I can sleep anywhere, which also comes from, I think,
Well,
growing up with.
I don't have that. You do have that.
I can sleep anywhere, to the point of, like, we have a little child, my wife and I, and she's been having trouble falling asleep a bit lately. And my wife, you know, she will just get up and walk around with her, but
Right.
I'm afraid to do that because I might fall asleep walking around with her. You know, and that's dangerous. So that's part of
Yes, it is.
why I lay down with her, and which has created another problem because she's liking that a lot.
She says, I'm going to just lay
Well,
here
just
now.
lay here on daddy.
Then
But
You know, that's bad that you're worried that you might fall asleep walking
yeah,
around
like because I'm so tired, I could just lead like this and go.
and then fall on your child
Yeah.
or something. Well, I don't have that, but I do have this problem where I will have a little dream and then I almost forget what is the reality and what is a dream.
Absolutely.
And I have these moments where I catch myself not here,
Right.
but I'm not asleep exactly. And my brother tested this one time. He drove me home from the airport and I was having alternate realities all the way
Yeah.
home. And I kept having them very quickly.
I
and
love that feeling.
I don't.
I
like
know
it.
you don't, but there's something. It's the kind of when you're so overtired. Like, do you ever get it where you're so tired and you're just like laying there and you just say stuff out of the blue
Well, this is the thing. This is the craziness.
to the person beside you, and you've just seen something and you're reacting to it and
Right.
responding to it.
You remember me telling you the story about the driving problem I was having. We've talked about this before. I drove from that trip, what I mentioned when I went to California to interview Harlan Ellison.
Right.
That didn't
Yeah,
pan
on the
out.
last podcast.
During that trip, the second day we drove from the Illinois-Indiana border to Roswell, New Mexico. And that, I think it was like 21 hours or something like that. So we got up early in the morning in this town, which I feel like is called Marshall, but I don't remember, at a campground, and just drove. And I drove, I believe, the whole time. I didn't let Robin drive that day
Right.
for whatever reason. Call me a control freak because it's true. Anyway, by the time we get to Roswell, we were deciding we had to stop, and he could sleep anywhere too, so he's
Right.
sleeping off and on. And as I'm driving along, I keep seeing these jackrabbits that are the size of a man by the side of the road, and they keep threatening to come out onto the road. And
It's like a David Lynch movie.
yeah, well, it was. And there were these big fences. I guess there are government installations on either side of the road. And I kept saying to Robin, I have to pull over. I'm unsafe. So I pull over and I want to go to sleep. And then we can't pull over. Like, there's nowhere to pull over and we can't get over to the side. So eventually I am seeing these jackrabbits and I see them on the other side of the fences. And I start like, that one almost came out. And I remember saying to him, that one almost came out.
Yeah.
And then I'd say, wait, that's not real. And
Oh my god.
yeah. Wait a minute, which one's real? And I was so concerned about these jackrabbits. There had to be 6 feet high at the shoulder. These are giant jackrabbits. And I knew if one hit the car, he'd knock the car over.
I can so relate to that.
That feeling.
I've had so many hallucinate times like that driving late from, anywhere.
A show, right?
A show or something like that.
That's not
like there's
good.
times I've seen like huge steamships going down the side, down the street, like down the street of it. And I'm like freaking
How
out
can
about
that be?
it. How can
Yeah.
that be? There's a steamship going down the street.
Well, go ahead.
No, I mean, I could just go on and on. The one that actually freaked me out a little bit was a time I was coming home. It was probably from a concert because we used to play all over the place and always try to get home.
Well, apparently you played 15 times.
Yeah, in 2 months.
In 2 months.
Can you believe it? And actually 2 stories along that line. One, I got in an accident doing
That's what happens, and that's why this is not good. What we're saying is terrible, folks.
That's horrible. So don't
should never have
drive
done those.
and sleep. No, please don't.
No, shouldn't have done that.
But
I feel bad.
The story I was going to just quickly refer to is I was driving along, and like you seen the jackrabbits, I actually saw a horse, and I slammed on the brakes of the van, and everybody went, flying up to the front, and they're all like, what's going on? And I go, did you see that horse? A horse just went across the road, kind of thing.
Like the jackrabbits.
And so, okay, nope, no horse. Let's keep driving. And about 2 miles or so, maybe a little more up, there's an accident on the side of the road.
You're going to say a guy hit a horse.
There was a horse trailer flipped over and all the rest. So there's 2 possibilities. The horse got out, and I actually did see a horse.
Yeah.
Or it was a ghost of a horse.
Or you had a pre-flash.
Premonition, yeah.
A premonition.
And, in those kind of scenarios, I often wonder, what would have happened. Like sometimes you wonder if you're not being protected or that you're getting like you said, a pre-flash, and the fact that you stopped kept you from being in that accident and all that kind of stuff.
We should say that we say flash for a reason. The word flash comes up for a reason. Mm-hmm. Because and we'll talk about this another day, you get flashes, or you have gotten flashes.
I get many flashes.
I don't get flashes.
Well, that's where we're different.
Yeah, well, that's where we're different. Because I get flashes and you're dumb.
No.
The jackrabbit, the steamship, the horse, all of these things are a sign that you should not be driving, kids.
Absolutely.
It was bad. I am so glad that I didn't die on that trip. That was before I had children. My wife would have been left alone. She is a very nice looking lady. She would have easily found someone else. But how tragic would that be that I had died on this trip?
That would have been very tragic.
Yeah.
And to go that way, when we had our accident.
To die being hitting a jackrabbit that size, you mean?
Yeah, hitting a jackrabbit. You ever see big, huge birds come flying down?
No.
No?
When you're driving?
When you're driving, like just huge birds.
No.
Like coming flying down.
Oh, that's frightening.
It's very frightening.
Because it makes me think of Mothman.
The ironic thing is where I have seen these birds is over in the Ben Miller area.
Sorry.
He's laughing, but this sounds scary. They could actually be there. Oh. What if it was Mothman?
Well, it very well could have been.
Did they have red eyes?
No, they didn't have red eyes, but just huge, huge birds. And I actually, in those cases, I don't think I was tired. I actually wonder if I saw some big birds around here. Anybody else?
Don't say big bird because that makes it
sound like Sesame
That's
Street.
Terrible.
Yeah.
But giant birds is good. What's this image that you pulled up? Why did you pull up an image?
I don't know. I just saw it and I thought, there's another picture of
Biltong.
Of Biltong. That's right.
Why?
That looks like a guy I'd never want to hang out with.
Yeah. Or he could be a lot of fun. He's got.
Why is the other guy holding a beer out by his face?
I don't know.
Understand
That's just bizarre. And here,
this is a weird display.
It's a very interesting
It's
photo.
some sort of Trinity.
Very cool.
It's like, there's this beer that I'll hold it for you, Ray. You hold the biltong, and then the uncooked some other meat, pork.
You have to think that the beer somehow has influence of this photo somehow. It's created the humor. In this photo.
Something that is a pet peeve of mine, and we do have to close down soon. And it's more than a pet peeve. It is like a full-on peeve. Is photos where people are showing the alcohol or substance that they have as if that's something amazing.
Right.
Without holding that beer in the frame, you won't know if they're partying or not.
That's right. So it gives a
We're partying. I need evidence. I need evidence that I am. I think it's stupid, but I think if evidence that there's partying going on.
So they're saying, here's the fun. There it is. There it is, guys. There's the fun in this photograph.
Yeah. Absolutely.
You missed a shot of Anthony holding up his.
Oh, really?
Yeah, he was
That's
holding
okay.
up his glass of water.
Yeah. This is the photo for people.
Just a second. Let me.
Wow,
I'm
this is.
there
wow,
we go.
there
Anthony,
it is.
do that
Show
shot.
it.
Show us. Yes.
Hey,
That's it.
Yeah.
I'm hydrated.
That's so many photos on Facebook right
It's
now.
weird.
Yeah.
What? It makes me think, like, I don't do that with anything. There's no stuff of mine that I feel like I have to show the stuff. Wait a minute.
I think they're.
It's like
There's the one of you, that giant pork chop at that restaurant in upstate New York.
Foodies are going to be the next people holding up their.
In upstate New York,
Oh my God, that was insane, wasn't it?
it was like a 12-pound pork
Oh
chop
my
stuffed with
gosh.
stuffing, and
That was such a good meal.
it was ridiculous.
It was ridiculous.
Do you remember? I remember exactly what I ordered and exactly what came. It's so strange.
Was it yours like the kind of meal where you wish you'd ordered something else?
No. That's never me.
Who was
I am
that?
always
Somebody
the one
had
that gets
that.
the meal that I want. Everyone
okay.
wants mine usually. And when I say everyone, I mean my wife specifically. Here's what I ordered. We were driving down to New York to do a turtle shoot thing. And we stopped in one of these diners. You know the diner. It's that one.
I know exactly.
We stopped
the
at that one.
I know exactly.
It doesn't matter where it is. It's in every place. It's that diner. And we stopped at that one. And, Marge came and she was going to help us out with the meal and stuff. And I said, you know what? I don't want to eat this. It was late at night and I didn't want the heavy meal. I thought I was going to go light. So I ordered broiled chicken. It was called broiled chicken breast, roast potato, and a veg.
Right.
And she said, yeah, it's fresh vegetables. I thought, oh, that's good. So it was just like a healthier meal. He ordered the pork chop, stuffed pork chop. So mine came out and it was 2 full chicken breasts broiled, a baked potato that was the size of a newborn baby.
Yeah.
Not a light meal.
No, and a mountain of mixed vegetables that were actually very good. And then there was bread with that. Like she brought out a bun or a biscuit or something like that. And then I thought, this is the biggest meal ever. And then his came out.
Oh my God.
And it looked like the severed head of someone that was cooked. It was as big as your head.
As big as a whole chicken.
It
was
very
unreal.
like it was too much actually.
It was ridiculous
because there was so much meat, and this is one of those times where I go, this is too much of the same flavor. Like it was a lot of food. It was fantastic in that regard, but it's way too much of exactly the same flavor.
It was way too much of the same
my
flavor.
God.
I have never seen a bigger portion of pork chop. It was like, you know how you take a pork chop and you cut the pork chop? This was like as if they didn't cut the pork chop. It was just all the pork chops in one pork chop. And then they hollowed it out and put stuff. Is that not what it was? It had stuffing in it.
It was insane.
And it had a big knob of stuffing that looked like a summer sausage of stuffing in the middle of your pork chop.
Yeah.
I mean, something.
Good deal, obviously. Like if you're looking for a lot of food,
go to this unknown
diner on the way to
that
New
is
York
that
City.
diner that you know.
Diner that we all know.
Anyway, well, this was a good time talking about flavors. I don't know. I think, Anthony, you probably don't want us to talk about the 2 chocolate bars that you bought on the way out. You did buy 2 chocolate bars.
I've been outed. I bought the Snickers bar.
Yeah.
I like the Snickers bar, even though it's something I should definitely not be eating. But I like it because of it's not really sweet and it's fairly dense. I like dense foods.
I think it's too sweet.
Let's see. I bought the Wonder Bar, and I think Wonder Bar is really sweet. So what do you eat chocolate bars?
Oh yeah, I do. I try not to right now because I'm trying to get lean and strong for fighting season that's coming up.
That's right.
Mm-hmm. UFC the UFC is on April 30th, and I'm not fighting, but it's going to be on its first UFC in Toronto. I'm really
Wow.
It's exciting, and I want to be ready for that.
Yeah, you got to be ready for that.
I want to be ready for other people to fight at it, but I want to be myself ready for that.
Yeah.
And so if I have a chocolate bar, I like a chocolate bar that's just darker and a little bit less sweet. Although if you handed me a Kit Kat thick, the chunky one,
Yeah.
I'd eat that rascal right up,
Yeah.
to be fair.
Yeah.
What have you got there? What's this?
Oh, she's partying. She's
Oh.
got the drink. She's got the photographic evidence.
It's so weird.
She's
I mean,
got
that's
some
an
bad
ad.
makeup or
That's
something.
an ad, so it's different.
Yeah, it is.
But if you just show pictures of people where they're holding up their drink,
No,
I
I
find
know.
that strange.
I actually didn't bring that up for that reason. I brought it up because you were talking about chocolate bars.
Well, what's your favorite chocolate bar?
My
Why do you
favorite
say?
chocolate bar,
Reese's
I have-
Pieces, or what are they called? Reese's peanut butter cup.
yeah, I do like those. I kind of go through phases of the Reese's type, or I like white chocolate sometimes.
Are you kidding?
I really like white
I
chocolate.
can't eat white chocolate.
It's my least favorite
Yeah.
of all the
There's
things
something
that are
about
called
it
chocolate.
with there's the one that Hershey makes that it's like an Oreo cookie with white chocolate,
I absolutely hate that one.
and I enjoy that.
That is so interesting.
I don't mind a Snickers bar from time to time. It's kind of a meal replacement, that one,
Yes, yep.
and
It's got all your food groups.
I mean, that's
nougat.
yeah. So if you don't have time to eat a
Chocolate.
Snickers bar, and you're good to go.
Mhm.
I like Mr. Biggs and O. Henry sometimes.
Really, I find those to be like 70s chocolate bars. They're
Yeah.
like haircuts that are out of style.
That's
for
right.
me.
It's kind of a trip down memory lane.
Or like flare jeans.
Here's the chocolate bars I like.
Mhm.
Any ones that are 2 for 50 cents at Bargain.
Okay, that
Yeah.
yeah.
You
Those
know
are
what
the
I mean?
ones
It's like, okay, there's
wait a
those.
minute, they're 2 for 50 cents.
Yeah, that's why
They limit them now. You can only buy 3. Is
Yeah.
it 3 or 6
that's because I
at a time?
How many did you buy?
I would go in there every day. No. $10 worth, please. $10 worth.
That's a lot of
20
chocolate bars.
chocolate bars, man.
Did you ever do that?
No, I'm just joking.
Too bad. Because one time my friend Austin, who is now a physics professor at UC Berkeley, which I say that not to name drop, but to say even people who are, in the psychological, what did I want to say there? Intellectual elite, psychological elite. I think I've invented a new thing. In the intellectual elite of our culture, they make weird decisions like the rest of us. He said he thought he could eat 9 Mars bars.
Wow.
And he said he tried it one time. Now, I want to say to people out there, try and eat 9 Mars bars. Try and eat 9 any chocolate bars. I don't know if you could do it. But Mars bars in particular, saying Mars bar hurts my teeth.
Yeah.
Mars bar.
Crazy.
You can feel it.
So sweet.
Oh, it's painful. Did
Oh,
you just,
I remember this commercial from high school.
what are you talking about?
I
What's
mean,
happening?
well,
No, I'm
What's
snooping.
happening?
I'm
He's doing it
snooping.
again.
This is
Snooping on the
this is
hustle.
our audience. He's snooping.
You're doing it again.
He's looking over my shoulder.
You're setting
sorry.
stuff up again.
I was setting.
I'm trying to put
something.
some context on this.
I thought it'd be a good closer. That's all.
I think
It's about eating too many chocolate bars.
Possibly.
Well, anyway, kids at home, I think what we've learned today is that you probably should mix your flavors because that's good.
Yeah.
And it takes you away from like you're growing up in a rural environment where you just have 3 flavors at your meal and they're all separated.
That's right. And don't feel limited if you don't have access to what we were calling exotic foods or things like that.
You just make your own.
You just make your own. And with
Mix 'em
those foods that, may seem blah and blasé, I encourage you to take those and mix them and to put them in your mouth and to savor the flavors.
Yeah, the hustler really speaks some truth tonight.
It's a very, anybody can do it too. It's not something that's just for the elite or the powerful.
It is.
It's something that anybody can
It is
do.
truly the great equalizer.
It is.
Making plate stew. Anyone can. Kids do it automatically,
Absolutely.
don't they? They just start
They
mixing
just
it
do
up.
it. Absolutely.
And the other thing we learned that you bought 2 chocolate bars, but you kind of regret it, Anthony. You,
yeah.
On some level.
I work out. I try to eat well,
yeah.
and sometimes, as I said, I have moments of weakness. Like
I don't know if
everybody
it's
else.
weakness because what's your life for? Is for enjoyment and to try and,
Yeah.
So having a chocolate bar is probably good.
That's right. Everybody.
Tastes good, and why not? Even though I didn't get one and was a little sanctimonious about it.
Oh, was that it?
A
we
little?
Can share. We can share it when we're done. We'll split it.
No, I don't want. I'm trying not to. And anyway, and then we also learned that, towards the end, chocolate bars are good if they're a mix of flavors, but they're better if they're 2 for 50 cents from, what's the store?
Bargain.
Bargain.
The bargain shop on the square in Goddard. We look forward to your future
Oh,
sponsorship.
bargain. I was
Yeah.
thinking of, what's the other one that I was thinking of?
Giant Tiger.
No.
The dollar store.
Thank you, the dollar store.
65 cents
See, that's
there.
what I was picturing in my mind.
Good bread there, though.
So, folks, bargain. 2 chocolate bars for 50 cents is better than mixing flavors and better than 9 Mars bars, even if you're a physics professor at UC Berkeley. Thanks, everybody, and we'll see you next time. And by see, I guess we mean that you'll see us or listen to us.
Absolutely.
And we if you did, thank you very much. And if you didn't,
Well, people don't see the real me, right? They just see my black problem.
Thanks for dropping in.
People think that I eat too many chocolate bars or that I don't wash my face.
what the heck is
I've
this?
tried many things. I've tried everything. Just nothing works.
Are we on still?
Oh, yeah.
What is this?
This is a train wreck.
I don't think so, no. It's hard to believe now.
This is a parody
that
of-
it'll actually go away.
This is a
And it's very bad.
Yeah.
I don't like that at all.
No, I don't either.
that went really sideways.
That was not a good
It was
editor.
a parody of a commercial about acne. 'Cause
Yeah.
I think I have acne because I have too many chocolate bars. But then someone said, "Hey,
I think
that's the
we-
one right there.
I think we need
You
to
had the
cut
real
that.
one.
What's the real one?
That's
This
it
one
right
here?
there." Yeah.
Oh, sorry. I apologize.
Well, people don't see the real me, right? They just see my acne problem. People think that I eat too many
You know what?
chocolate
This
bars
is just as
or that
awful
I
as
wash
the
my
other
face.
one.
Yeah,
What?
I've tried many things.
All
I've
right,
tried
so,
everything, but just
I don't
nothing
like
works.
this.
No,
This is a bad ending.
we don't like this, kids, and we apologize. It's all my fault,
Oh.
that ending.
Sometimes trying new things doesn't work.
You know
out,
what?
But at least we tried.
This is the weakness of you being able to, you know what I mean? Nip into the internet and pull up a video. That's then we didn't pre-roll that.
No,
to
we
check
didn't.
it
We
out.
we
were
should just
just
close on a
randomly-
video of kittens.
That's
Or
probably,
we should just go out into the mink farm and get to work, guys.
That's true.
yes.
What's my saying again? Catch you later. No, what is it? See, catch you on the flip.
Catch you on the flip.
Catch you on the flip.
Later, bye.